What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group Bowl Around Pickers Lounge, coming at you again live from beautiful Fresno, California for another one of our Sunday Reseller Roundups. Like always, we're here. We're going to spend an hour or two together talking about some of the most interesting things that are happening in the world of being a reseller, covering some of the latest news. We're going to take a peek at some of the pickups that I had during the week. And we got a very interesting episode ahead of us because we're going to be premiering a small mini documentary that I made over the last week and talk about the process that went into it. So for this week, we're going to be talking about Amazon coming to the table with more than just some deals for picking up Amazon Prime. Like I said, we're going to be taking a look at that mini doc, and then eBay is having some issues with the Canadian Post. And then we also got some extra details regarding Patreon and the season finale and all that good stuff. Little details that are going on with the show. So yeah, thank you all for the people who took the time to be here today, and I think we're going to have ourselves a fun one. I really do. Like I said, there's a handful of stuff to go over, and I got some pickups and all that good stuff, but yeah, it's been a minute since I've come into the show feeling nice and strong, having some high energy, and seeing that we got a good crowd with us tonight. Looks like we're approaching about a dozen people. We got some people running a little bit late tonight. I want to thank everyone again for taking the time to be here, and a special shout out and thank you to our moderators, Pam and Mindy, tonight for making sure that the comments stay classy and just making sure everything runs smooth and assisting with links. I also want to give a thank you to all the patrons for helping support the show and keep us on the air. Those of you who aren't familiar with the whole Patreon program and the types of perks that it can get for you, we'll be getting into that just a little bit later. So let's take a peek at our early comments. Hello to you, Pam, Mindy. I do not know who Etheria is, and I do not know who Andrew Wilson is, but we'll figure that out later. Judy says, couldn't find the link. We went ahead and posted the link straight to the main page. And just so you know, there should be a little premiere thing on your actual YouTube. So if you haven't taken the time to yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click on that like on this video. It definitely helps us out. But if you haven't subscribed, that way you can, ring the little bell. There's a little bell next to the subscribe thing, and that'll let you know about an hour before we go live. It'll give you that one more reminder, and then you're also going to get a little push notification within group chat to remind you as well. So yeah. So like I said before, you guys know this. I am in the process of getting ready for a move, and I told myself I'm not going to be buying any more stuff. Obviously, because I'm going through the process of liquidating as many items as I can, because every item that I bring with me, it's just going to incur more costs as I have to pay somebody to pick up that box and pay somebody to drop off that box in the new location. Everything just adds up in cost. Etheria, you got to go to your Google settings and change it over to CatCon, because I know who CatCon is, and I always appreciate you coming through too. And you really got to look into our Patreon program. I really think it would help you out. I know you've been dialing back a little bit yourself on your production of the stream, but my gosh, I think it might be time for me to upgrade my PC specifically for streaming. So I think when we come back into next year, we might be looking at some new gear, new camera, new lights, new everything. But like I said, we're going to get into that a little bit later. Hello to you as well, Steve. Thank you for taking the time to be here. And I can see you forgot to click the like button. Don't forget to do that. It helps us out a lot. So as I was saying, I wasn't supposed to be working. I was supposed to be focusing on the move, focusing on fitness, focusing on, going out and doing more things. But I woke up this morning and I said, heck, I got some time. And the other day I had to go about an hour out of town for a business trip. So I said, you know what, while I'm out there, I'm going to do a little bit of sourcing. So I hit 2 swap meets this week, just 2. People always ask me, I get this question all the time, Jay, how many hours a week do you spend working on eBay and how much money are you actually bringing in? And I tell people, the number of hours that I work and the dollars I bring in, it's all really relative. If you find yourself working 40 hours and you're only making, $200-$300 a week, there's probably something wrong. Either you're sourcing in the wrong places, you're not sourcing effectively, you're not willing to broaden your horizons, or, boy, you're spending far too many hours doing listing. But if you're doing it correctly, like, some of us seasoned sellers, you should be going out 2 or 3 days a week. And then you should be bringing home about $1,000 worth of product each week, bringing it home and getting it cleaned up and staged and ready for listing. So I went out 2 days this week and we're going to be looking at about $1,000 worth of product. Now, I did get lucky. I did get very lucky. There's a couple of vendors that I ran into that I've done business with before. I got some really aggressive pricing on some quantity goods that don't have great presence online. And that's kind of some of the stuff that you're going to want to look for. You're going to want to look for those things that maybe slip under the radar for a lot of other resellers. People see them and they say, that's not really worth my trouble. And I'll show you an example. This is the first item that I got, okay? These are Thermogear refill packs. So if we look at the example here, they've got shoes and gloves, mitts, scarves, etc. And basically what happens is, they're standard scarves or gloves to begin with, but you can insert these specially fitted, sized heat packs. And, obviously they're temporary heat packs. I mean, you can get reusable ones. If you didn't know about them, they're absolutely amazing. They got this little metal thing in the middle, and you can actually reuse a heat pack, take it with you, and then snap it in. I'll show it to you guys one day. But these ones are single use. And what was really great about this buy is I got them in these packets, and there's actually 2 sets in each packet. Now, after looking at the comps online, I saw one sale, and one sale only. I know what you're thinking, like, Jay, there's only one sale on there. Why would you buy these? There's none of them available. And this is here on my side. If you guys are having any issues with the audio, the video, anything like that dropping, please let me know, and I'll see if I can make some adjustments on the fly, just like we had to last week. But so I got them just like this, okay, 2 to each one of these clear packs, and I've got, you won't believe this entire bag is full of them. Okay, there's 16 of these double packs in here. Boy, that is a lot of them, okay? I got 16 of these double packs. I couldn't believe it. I paid $25 for all of them. Now, the price that I saw, which I greatly believe was being undersold, somebody sold a dozen of these. And when I say a dozen, we're talking a dozen individual units. Each one of these packs has 4. So this would be 8 right here. And they sold a dozen for $11. Now, that's certainly underselling because the retail price on these for a pack of 4 is $7. Now, am I going to get 7? Probably not. But if I can get $6 a pack and sell them in quantity and be able to ship them all together, we're really going to be in on the money on that one. So we got $25 in. Let's just say realistically, so it's 6 per 2, 12 at 16. So we're probably looking at about $200+ give or take, depending on how I list them, depending on how I send them out. But I think it's going to be a really, really great return on investment on something, like I said, it's disposable. People need it. There's none available online right now. I might even be able to be more aggressive. I might even be able to go as high as $8 or $9 per set if I'm the only one who can get them shipped out to people. And especially if you can't find them in store. Thank you, Tim and Pam, for telling me how great and how good I sound tonight. I appreciate that. But no, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for your patronage as well. Good to see you again, Tim. I saw your photo that you put up earlier. Super. I don't know if that was a granddaughter or not, but yeah, super cute family photo. So yeah, always happy to have you guys here. Junior Haggy, I'm not sure who you are, but welcome to the show for the first time. I don't think we've ever had you here before, and we're very much so happy to have you. And just so you guys know, if I haven't said this before, this is a live Q&A. I know some of you guys are here for the first time. If you haven't seen this before, we answer your questions here, right here on the spot. I consider myself an e-commerce expert, so if there's something that you have a question about, whether it's pack and ship, whether it's eBay policy, dealing with a specific type of customer issue, if you're having issues with payment solutions, let me know. I'm here to help. We're going to look at one or two more items, and then we're going to get to our main event for tonight, that mini documentary that I was telling you guys about. So we're going to take a peek at one or two more, watch that mini doc, cover a little bit of news, and then we'll come back and look at some more pickups on the week. So, what else do we got? We got a cool little bag of goodies here. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of these right now. I don't know how these got in here. I'm just going to have to do something with those. Okay, so I got one of these, and this is something that I usually I really write these off, okay? If you recognize what this is right off the bat, I'll be very impressed. So whenever I see something like this, and I want you to keep in mind, I found this at the swap meet sitting on the ground. First thing I was trying to do was trying to decipher what the heck it was. Okay. And then when I turned it around, I noticed right here that it took an SD card, and then I saw the brand on the front, and fortunately, there was a label on the bottom that allowed me to look this up. It reads Wolverine F2D. And after looking that up on eBay, I was able to figure out that this is some type of film converter, which is really, really cool. And after looking up the pricing, this is about a $30 unit. The only thing that's missing is a very generic USB micro A charge cable, which I'm sure I'm going to be able to find one for. They're filthy cheap. And I even like the fact that it had its original film over the front. Something tells me this may have only been used a handful of times, and then somebody just picked it up as part of a bulk lot. So I'm $2 in on this, $30 return on investment. What's really great, this is somewhat heavy. I even have a scale here. Let me see. My studio is also my pack and ship station. You guys ever have an issue with your scale where you put something on it and it just won't stay on, and it just turns off on you, but then when you actually walk away from the damn thing and you forget to turn it off, you come back 3 days later and it's still on? You ever have that happen? I've got one of those. Okay, so this bad boy is 14.5 ounces. After I pack it up, it's going to be over a pound. But with these really, really dense items, that's where this comes into play. bit.ly/cheap ship. It'll get you exceptionally cheap shipping. I'm not even kidding on how cheap that shipping is. So this would qualify for what they call cubic shipping, and you can get this all the way over to the East Coast for about $6. I do understand that this could also go inside of a padded flat rate, which is another option, but if you want to put this inside of a box and you don't want to do a box inside of a poly, that's another option for you as well. But we'll cover those links here in another moment. Let's take a look at these comments. Oh, and you said it was your granddaughter. Yeah, super cute granddaughter, Tim. And CatCon says, there goes the diet. You know, that diet. Yeah, I've been having a little bit of a regression on it. I did switch up the snack a little bit today, the pre-show snack, to Triscuits. And I'll tell you, when you're hankering for a snack and you also hate yourself, Triscuits are the snack for you. Okay, we're going to take a look at one more item, then we're going to get into our main event tonight. This was a surprise. So there's this lady at the swap meet. Well, and I'm not even trying to say just one. There's a lot of people who go out there with store return items. I guess they're buying pallets. There's some surplus auction or something going on that I'm not a part of. I'm too lazy to buy out entire pallets and deal with a whole bunch of nonsense. I mean, she had like 40 fidget spinners, and she had a whole bunch of, BS survival gear and other nonsense. Well, she also had this. This is a water pick set. This is green, by the way. That right there, that's green. So there's a nice little water pick flosser set. Now, I understand that this is a store return. It's kind of disgusting to dabble in stuff like this. I'm right there with you. Nobody wants to buy something that may have been inside of somebody else's mouth. Okay, but and she was nice enough to let me pop it open, which I won't buy stuff like this if I can't. I say huge amount of plastic wrap in here, okay? So I'm under the impression that this was either used for a very short amount of time or it wasn't used at all. So what I'm hoping for when I get into this is that there's going to be some good usable components. One of these in used condition is worth about $70, okay? So there's a good amount of value in that, just, right off the bat, if everything is there. Now, I didn't go deep into it. Looks like we got one travel case, some type of additional click-on bit. We're going to pull this whole thing out. We're going to see. I'm going to move this mic real quick. Okay, we're hoping that the main assembly piece is going to be in here. And it looks like we have one part of the assembly. It doesn't seem to have the head on it, but I know this is a good chunk of the value right here. We're probably looking at about $15-20 just on that oscillating bit right there. And then, oh yes. Fantastic. Look how lucky we are. So, it looks like we have the other bit of the assembly here, and then it looks like we have a whole bunch of the other parts in here. So I'm going to sell this as it sits. I'm not going to do any cleaning or futzing with it or anything like that. I'm just going to take pictures of what's there, say this is what you're getting, here's how I found it, if you like it, buy it. I'll plug it in, make sure it lights up. I don't want to put water in the tank. I don't want to mess with all that. So I'm going to sell it just like that. So cool little pickup. Like I said, $5 in, and I'll get, I don't know, 50 or 60 bucks out of it. So easy money. And like I said, you know, I'm only dealing with stuff right now that I know I can convert over. It even has the instructions so I can double check what I'm missing or maybe requiring. But I'm only dealing in stuff right now that I know I can flip out quickly. I'll auction this bad boy and I'll still get at least a minimum of 40, 45 bucks, but hopefully even a little bit more than that. But we're going to take a pause from the items, take a look at some comments real quick, and then we'll kind of go from there. Let's see. I got an LOL regarding my Triscuits comment. Thank you, CatCon. Those are amazing Triscuits. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Out of all the Triscuits I've ever had, these are the ones that are the least disgusting. So there we go. I mean, that's something now. Seriously, they're fine Triscuits, but I mean, this is where the money's at. Someone's just tuning in will think, Jay picked up Triscuits as a sponsor. I would kill to have Triscuits as a sponsor, but I don't think they'll take me at this point. The tip of your mouth goes in the replaceable part. I think so people still buy them. Okay, that's good. And then looks like it wasn't used. Yeah, it looks like it's in pretty solid condition. So, guys, it's time for the main event. I want to preface this. There's a few things I want to say before I start this little mini documentary that I know some of you guys are here for. One, there was a preview screening yesterday for a handful of select people. We did just one quick watch through. Some of you have seen it already. Thank you for those who took the time yesterday to watch it. It was truly appreciated. I just wanted to make sure that everything was kind of on point and that I wasn't crossing too many boundaries or putting myself in a position where I could find myself in a little bit of trouble. I do want to say, because we are watching this live right now, that the description that's going to be on the mini documentary when it's on YouTube does have a legal disclaimer stating that portions of the Q3 shareholder call have been omitted for the narrative of the video. I want to be very clear and state too that things haven't been cut up, or as people say, quote mined, to try and deliver a specific type of story. Long story short, the Q3 call was over an hour long, and I only needed about 15 minutes of that, or not even that much, maybe about 10 minutes or so of the actual call to be able to explain the story that I want to explain regarding this. So what we're going to be watching right now is a piece that took me, believe it or not, it took about 25 hours to put together. This is my first real foray into creating something really big. So I really do hope you appreciate it. Let me take a look at these comments real quick before I get started. Junior Haggy says, can I replay the video? My family was trying to lure me out of the theater, but I told them I'm watching the Reseller Roundup. Thank you. And you have to remember, family's really only family if they support you watching Reseller Roundup. Okay, so if they're trying to take you away from it, I kind of question their intent, their motives. And yes, you can rewind it. Yes, you can watch it later. This entire episode will be available for rewatch later. The video that we are going to be playing for you right now, I do want to state that after the show is over, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you will be able to watch that video again in high definition. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be streaming it through here, so there's going to be some minor audio issues, some minor lag issues. It's just the way that this technology works on the machine that I'm on. So if you want to rewatch it in high definition, if you want to share it with other people, this is going to be somewhat of a very dark and gritty look into the kind of the underbelly of what's happening with eBay right now. I don't want to call it like an expose, but it's kind of along those lines. It will open your eyes up to some things. I also want to state that after the video is over, you will see a green screen outro of me inside of an office, okay? And that's, I'll be wearing a different outfit, so this show isn't over, but I want you to see that outro. That's how it's going to be presented on YouTube as well. The first few seconds might be a little bit tricky to hear. I'm going to get my mic scooted over so it's easier. But yeah, enjoy the video, guys. And I'll be here in the background taking comments and such. So if you have any questions during the video or if there's any issues with the audio, let me know. And yes, it is a little creepy, but Only for the first minute or two. Let's get this audio up. To test one's patience is to attempt to understand and listen to what can only be described as an endless stream of rhetoric and conjecture from the CEOs and executives at eBay. A company with over 20 years' experience struggles as they lose touch with what it means to be a buyer, or even a seller for that matter. My name is Jay. Have a seat with me as I break down a tumultuous earning call packed full of hidden gems for everyday sellers. You may be asking yourself why you're watching this video. What does a shareholder call have to do with me as an everyday seller on eBay? It's amazing to watch as a company as large as eBay loses touch with its consumer base. Not only its buyers, but its sellers alike. Never in my life have I seen a company allow the smoke to roll in such in the way that it has. What will be the future of eBay? What are the things that we learned on this call? And what should you know moving forward? As a former salesman, there's one thing that I knew best, that it's not a big deal unless you make it a big deal. Watching eBay downplay the impact of its new payment solution is comical at best, but these concerns that many sellers have were fortunately echoed by shareholders on this year's call. Payment. Why is this important? Why should you care? The transition to Adyen started almost a year ago now, but the livelihood of every single seller on the platform and the platform itself hinges on the success of this transition. $320 million profit so far and only more to come. That's what eBay is banking on, and that's what the shareholders are banking on. Bringing that payment solution in-house to be able to make more money than ever before.
Payments. Discussed previously, advertising and payments are two significant opportunities in front of us. Our total marketplace advertising portfolio is expected to top $600 million this year. In Q3, total GMV was up 5% and revenue was up 6%, while our active buyer base grew 4% to 177 million. Underlying these results, GMV on our marketplace platform grew at 5%.
I have many issues with the way that eBay is presenting itself to the average seller and the average consumer. One of the biggest things that I have concerns with is promoted listings. As you heard one of the CEOs state, their goal is to make this a $600 million revenue earner and grow for eBay moving forward. But what exactly is eBay selling to you when they speak of promoted listings? Is it the idea or the notion that by promoting your listing you're going to have a higher sell-through, that more people are going to buy your items? Is that really what is happening? I spent the last 48 hours listing my items on promoted listings. And before we get too far into things, I do want to state that my variables have been constant. I've had roughly 600 items active at any given time over the last 6 months. I've had a variety of inventory, but with an emphasis on high traction, high attrition items. And on top of that, I've been running staggering sales on and off throughout the last 6 months, and now I'm at one of the greatest sales that I've had over the last 6 months. So I ran my promoted listings with trending percentages, whatever eBay told me was best. 3% all the way up to 14% and beyond to be able to encourage my items to sell through. Sure, I saw more clicks, sure I saw more impressions, but I went from a 6-day per item average down to a 3 to 0 item per day average. My numbers actually went down. Now I understand there can be anomalies, but to say a 0 day with trending promotions on 600 items that are the cheapest that they have ever been while on eBay, it's a little bit concerning to me. We have to ask ourselves, is this additional showcase of our listing actually converting to more sales? Or is it simply a matter of a consumer clicking on this one instead of clicking on the main listing? If we can't see the raw information and we can't aggregate it down to some form of useful information, there's no way to tell. And I think eBay really wants it this way. Sure, you can download a report that's going to show you your impressions and your clicks, but that doesn't do anything for us. We can't tell why our consumers are buying on a promoted listing and why they're not buying our standard listing. Furthermore, after going through and looking at the analytics, only one sale across the 2 days was actually attributable to my promotions. That being said, I understand the sample size is small and that there's not many data points to work with, but I don't care for promoted listings, and I don't want to give eBay any more of my hard-earned money. And for what? Placement? Like I said earlier, placement should be given to the best brand with the best listing, not the person with the deepest pockets willing to work on the smallest margins. We're going to get into it later. We've already talked about this before, the fight for domestic sellers against our Chinese counterparts and liquidating wholesale goods to direct consumer, and why it's so difficult for American sellers to get ahead. But promoted listings, it's making it even harder.
eBay users are responding well to the evolution of our platform. But as we mentioned last quarter, our existing buyer base has been slower to adapt to these changes.
Our first question comes from Stephen Jew with Credit Suisse.
Okay, thanks. So, Devin, I think in your prepared remarks, you disclosed that you have 400,000 sellers promoting 160 million listings. Not to sound churlish here, but there are probably millions of sellers and over 1 billion listings. So, granted, some of the stuff is in the long tail and probably not appropriate for promotion. But what can you do to drive higher adoption from incremental sellers?
Why the slow adoption of promoted listings? Why is it that eBay sellers still do not wish to use something that is supposed to help increase the sales volume of the everyday seller? It comes without surprise to me that many people are choosing simply to not use this feature. There's not enough information to prove that spending extra money actually correlates to a higher level of sales volume. There's no real way to prove whether or not the listing that eBay says was clicked on was actually used to convert over to a sale. And there's no real way to help justify the amount of money that the average seller should be spending per listing. Seeing trending numbers isn't enough anymore. We need hard data to be able to make these types of decisions. But I want you to think back to a time 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when sellers had their listings placed within search based on the quality of the seller that they were and the quality of the listing that they had. We look now at a time where eBay is attempting to implement a catalog-style system similar to what Amazon is doing. But the reality is, there will be no good catalog. The top placement will always go to the highest bidder. And the only person who wins in this entire equation is eBay.
And business sellers are getting more chances in different parts of our product flows to promote at their option. I'll remind you that promoting a listing is an option for a seller. It's not a requirement.
Promoting a listing is an option for a seller. It is not a requirement. These words, spoken by someone who earns $15 million a year, more than most of us are going to earn in our lifetime, this man earns within 1 year. Now, I have no problem with him earning that amount of money. The only reason I state this is so that you can better understand just how disconnected certain members and entities of eBay are from the average everyday buyer and seller that's utilizing their site. To say that a promoted listing is not required is exceptionally foolish. If this was not something that was to the benefit of the seller, then why is it being presented to us in the way that it is? Why were we called and offered promotional credits to start using it for the first time? Why are we still being offered discounted rates now to continue using this? The whole idea is to get sellers spending more money to do the exact same thing that we were doing years ago. You're seeing our fees go up every single year, and now you're seeing our cost of business going up. And to simply say, oh, you don't have to spend the money to do that. Well, the reality is there's less and less buyers coming to eBay than ever before. It's visibly apparent how much Amazon has taken over this sector. 50 cents of every dollar spent online for making a buying purchase is done through Amazon. eBay is getting less than 20 cents on the dollar that's passing through the e-commerce world. It's apparent to everyone from the outside looking in that something is happening with eBay. Stock price is at an all-time low, and sellers simply frustrated they can no longer gain traction over their competitors, regardless of what they do. The race to the bottom has begun. Who will finish first?
Thank you. Our next question comes from Edward Yerma with KeyBanc Capital Markets.
We think Amazon is one of the leading, if not the leading, growth company across retail, across technology, but ultimately, this is one of these very typical type investment cycles.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for taking the question. On the issue of the behaviors of the well-habituated consumers, I guess, is it an issue of refining the functionality of the products you're rolling it out? Obviously, you're slowing down some of the rollout, or is there some kind of training or other way that you can help bring those behaviors of the habituated users more closely aligned to the new users? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Certain of our services have been well received across the board, and others of them take more time.
Thank you. Our final question comes from Douglas Anmuth with J.P. Morgan.
Devin, hoping you can talk about the operating environment for sellers in terms of just overall retail, some changes that are happening on shipping, for example, potentially out of China, collecting tax.
The proposed changes to the China import on the postal side, we don't, it's a little early on that, but I'd point a couple of things. We actually think we're pretty well positioned if those changes take fruition. A majority of our China inventory is now warehoused in the United States. Obviously, they're not our warehouses, but we've helped our Chinese sellers with warehousing domestically, so that wouldn't be subject to those corridors.
We're 12 minutes into this video, and I think we've covered quite a bit of information. I know some of the stuff that you learned today might be brand new information to you. And I'll be honest, as I was doing my research, it was brand new information to me as well. A lot of the things I found quite shocking, and believe it or not, there's still even a little bit more to go to this story. But I had to stop and interject here for just a moment and talk about how frustrating it is as an American seller trying my hardest to be able to keep up on the platform, to see a company like eBay work so hard, practically bending over backwards to ensure that Chinese sellers are able to stay competitive on this platform. I've said it before and I'll say it again, American sellers simply don't matter to eBay. We're there, we make money, we make the site look nice. But the reality is we're a very small percentage of the gross amount of sales that happen on eBay. But the reality is there isn't a whole lot that we can do. We either tuck our tail between our legs and we continue to play ball with the way that they want us to, or we simply walk away from the platform as a whole. There's not a whole lot of great alternatives coming out. There's a few in the works, but there's not many out there. That being said, there's a few other things still that we need to talk about. I have a lot of concern with the usage of the word corridors. The statements that I'm making are conjecture at best. But I have great issue with a few things. One, that eBay is positioning itself to be able to assist Chinese sellers in bringing their products here to America before the tariffs come into play that Trump has proposed. Now, regardless of your view on Trump or tariffs as a whole, any company that is working to assist other countries in circumventing our country's tariff laws are taking money directly out of our economy by doing so. They're stripping away tariffs that were put in place for a reason. And who's behind this? Okay? Well, let's take a look. We have a company called Orange Connex. Orange Connex is a company that's owned both by eBay as well as Citibank. The two of them have partnered up together to be able to make this brand a reality, and they specialize in e-commerce solutions for businesses of all different sizes. Beyond that, I have issues with Citibank as well. But eBay as a whole, they've created a system in place to be able to assist Chinese sellers in getting their inventory here to the States, stored in warehouses, and then also they've offered a discounted shipping service. So that way they can also get around Trump's proposed plan to get rid of e-package shipping. Those of you who don't know, most Chinese sellers have been able to ship goods here to America for about 15 to 20 cents per item. Trump's proposed plan to remove the discounted shipping that they've been on for almost 100 years now, and eBay has already stepped in to try and resolve that, and has come up with a solution that, believe it or not, it's cheaper than American first class to be able to help them get their items here. It's absolutely ridiculous. And furthermore, you have Citibank partnered in with this as well. Citibank really bothers me for the simple fact that they're not only are they partners with eBay on Orange Connex, but they're also heavily invested into eBay shares. They have quite a few of them. I believe it's an undisclosed amount. But furthermore, Citibank is also placing projections on the eBay stock price. And I find issue with a company that's heavily invested into another company making public statements regarding the direction that they feel the stock is going to be going, and giving out that advice, giving out target price numbers to everyday consumers. This is a lot of information to take on board, and there's, not a whole lot that we can do with it, but I felt it imperative to take the time to share it with you all.
Domestically, so that wouldn't be subject to those corridors. We've also this year rolled out a shipping service called SpeedPack, and SpeedPack gives China sellers multiple delivery options that wouldn't be subject to the proposed postal changes. So I wouldn't say there's no impact, but actually in some ways, if the changes happen, for everyone importing China inventory, we think we're about the best position, given that we've been in this business for a long time and we've taken a lot of changes to shrink time and distance and cost for Chinese sellers and build diversity at the last mile.
So guys, thanks for taking the time to watch that. I know it was a bit of a departure from the videos that I normally do, but I've been a little bit fed up with eBay as of late. I wanted to see what I was capable of putting together, try out some new editing techniques, have a little bit of fun. But in all honesty, that little 20-minute video took over 20 hours to produce. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you shared it with some other people. Maybe got the word out a little bit. The biggest takeaway I want y'all to leave with is that promoted listings is a little bit dicey right now. With a little more information, it can really be improved and it could actually be beneficial. The way it is right now, even after recording this, I'm on day 4 of having the listings going, and I've only had the 2 sales, and sales overall are still greatly down. If you'd like more information, if you'd like to see my charts, if you'd like to see the analytics, feel free to send me a message. I'd be happy to provide them to you. But yeah, promoted listings still down, and I just want to see eBay do more for domestic sellers. I feel that eBay is using America as its jump-off point for diversity in products and for its buyer pool, but in reality it's using every other country in the world, and predominantly China, to generate its revenue. And I really feel like the tables should be balanced a little bit more in America's favor especially as how eBay is an American-based, an American-founded company. That's all, really. So thanks again for taking the time to watch. If you enjoy me, if you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe. We do all kinds of different training videos throughout the week, and we even do a Sunday, once a week, live stream for 2 hours where we take live questions, and we do some practical training, and we cover reseller news every single week. So thanks again. Have a great day.
We can monetize pixels on every screen.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What'd you guys think? That's my my first little bit that I've ever put together, and yeah, I was watching the comments as we were playing it through, and yes, yes, Kitty. It took over 20 hours to put that together. There was a long process that went into learning some of the new effects that were used within that video. So stuff like blending myself into that background, trying my best to make it appear that I was within that room, and then color grading the table so everything kind of mixed together, layering green screen effects, and then I probably had a solid, over 10 hours worth of research to be able to get that going. We got the thank you comments and the great job comments. Thank you to everyone for your support on that. Yeah, it was a big thing, and yeah, I really wanted to make sure that information got out there in a way that was mildly entertaining, because I understand that when you start getting into that documentary style and you have some almost chilling truths that need to be shared, that if it's not entertaining, that it really can't be grasped, it can't be appreciated, it can't be shared. Pam will also be posting up links here in about 19 minutes. That video will be a standalone video on this channel, but it's going to be going live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're watching a pre-recording of this later, then you'll be able to probably access that video right away. Your support in sharing this and utilizing good hashtags, maybe we can get some attention from some people, because it's a little bit scary what's going on. I mean, if this is the real reality, and like I said, there's a little bit of conjecture there, if this is something that eBay is doing to assist sellers from China to get their goods here before the new laws get implemented, that's a little bit scary. That's a little bit scummy. And then, and then also the stuff that I preached about regarding Citibank. So thank you to everyone for the support. While I've got your undivided attention, we're going to take a peek at some of these links over here. I know I've said it 1,000,001 times, but if you guys aren't using my link right here, this top one, you are throwing money away. This is to get your discounted shipping, okay? bit.ly/cheap ship will get you discounted shipping. Okay, yeah, it'll get you cheap shipping, save you a ton of money, utilizes cubic shipping, still goes through USPS, still exports and imports your tracking and your orders from eBay. Business as usual. It's cheaper, faster. It doesn't cost anything to sign up, doesn't cost anything monthly, just pay for your postage. And then if you'd like to join our group, it's right here. We put up content all the time. You can ask questions here and there. You know, we do all that fun stuff that you would expect of a group. And then we even do the little things too. Like we'll remind you when it's a day that you're not supposed to be sending packages out, so you don't wake up at 6 a.m. like an idiot and pack all your stuff and then wait for the postman who never comes. So we remind you of those things. And then this is fantastic, guys. Patreon. I think maybe I even have the, do I have the ability to, Nope. I thought I could. So I was going to show you guys what the flyers look like. We got some really cool flyers for patrons right now that you can get custom thank you cards for your orders just by being a patron. And there's all kinds of other cool perks, round the clock support as well. And then if you enjoyed that and you think, man, Jay, that was such a good video. That was as good as any movie that I was going to see this week. I'll tell you what, I like you enough. There's the PayPal right there. And if you don't want to, no hard feelings, guys. I understand. I would be happier if you took that money and you invested it in a purchase and made some money on eBay and then came back to me maybe like a month later. So take another look at some of these comments. CatCon says, I live in Cali too and used to live where eBay is based. They forgot where they started and I miss the old bay. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I look at eBay up in San Jose right now and Mano. It's really disturbing. And the thing is, like, I get they're a company that needs to make money, Okay? The money that they make from Chinese sellers allows us to be a business here in America. But please do more for American sellers. You know, maybe if they dump that type of effort into, let's say, I don't know, reducing our shipping cost or streamlining our sales process, or maybe even promoted our listings for free so that way we could sell more stuff, maybe the American market would be a little bit stronger. Maybe we wouldn't have so much dependency on the China market to supply Americans with goods. Maybe if they helped us get goods at wholesale pricing and import them into warehouses here, you know, they don't have to buy the warehouses, but help us get them to warehouses here so that way we can be our own distributors domestically. I don't know. There's a lot of ways that eBay can help, and I want to see what's going to happen. So we'll see where it goes from there. CatCon says, true, it's hard to hold attention on this platform without a bunch of neat effects. Great first try. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still learning. Boy, oh boy, oh. And I said this the other day during the screener. I was about halfway through the process of making that, and I learned new stuff. No BS, because, you know, the process, like I said, took 20 hours. So as I was 10 hours in, that's 10 hours more experience I had on editing. And I actually had to go back and apply the new stuff that I learned to the first half just so that the back half and the front half looked just as good. And then I even had a copyright strike applied to the video the first time I uploaded it because apparently I used the wrong version of that outro song. So now my account even has a strike on it. So I had to re-render and re-upload, and that took an extra 4 hours to get that done and recut. So it was a bit of a process, but thank you again to all the people who praised that. And if you missed it, you can rewind, scrub it, and it will be available in 14 minutes as well. I also want to comment on something too before we get into a little bit of news, is I did put up a post this week. And like I said, I don't normally put up posts to this effect that say, hey, you know, how is everyone's sales doing right now? Because I've had a pretty high level of consistency. And like I said, my sales had hit an all-time low. So I really wanted to feel out the market and kind of see where everyone else was at. And it seems that the consensus is pretty clear that most people are having a slower than average week. And I feel it's the build up to not only Black Friday, but Thanksgiving as a whole. People have their heads in another place right now as they're ramping up for that too. CatCon says the problem with eBay, as I always say, is that eBay is like an old, disgusting recliner that you really should throw away, but it's just so comfy you can't get away from it. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's one of those things too that, you know, we're working with a new company to develop a new selling platform, and I haven't really discussed how hands-on I plan on getting with it. We're still figuring it out, but I may be getting in a little bit deeper than I discussed before. I may even be taking a chunk of the company. We'll kind of see. So I know there's been a lot of outcry and interest in a new selling platform, and if things keep going the direction they go, there might be some legs on this company. And those of you who know about it, but I'm not stating the name just yet. We're going to be having another video coming out later this week regarding the new company. And we'll have like a special affiliate link for people who are signing up through our program, because we're going to have additional perks that you're not going to get if you just sign up on your own. So we're going to have stuff like free thank you cards. We're going to have maybe even t-shirts. You're going to get your first month free. You're going to be getting one-on-one consultation support with me if you need help on stuff through the site. So we're going to have some really, really cool bonuses in place specifically for people of the show that you're not going to get anywhere else. So until we have that finalized, and we should have that finalized by tomorrow morning, that's how things are looking. And then once that goes through, you're going to see me putting all my inventory on there, which I'm really, really excited about, because a lot of people talk about how eBay in the beginning, eBay when it first started, yada, yada, yada. And I feel a little bit left out, because I go back and I can see what eBay was like in the beginning, and people talk about it and they say, oh, I was able to list a blouse for $55 and somebody would buy it. And it didn't matter the brand. It didn't matter the overall quality or the country of origin or anything like that. People were buying it because it looked good and they were okay with the price. there was no competition. There was no like hardline categories or catalogs or anything like that. They'd type in women's blouse, large, and they would scroll through all the pictures and they say, I like that one. I'm okay with the price. I'm going to buy that. And basically what's going on right now is we're creating this new platform. And, I specialize in video games. So one of the things that was really, really important for me when we were developing the category for video games is that there was something included regarding reproductions and homebrews. That way we could sift out the counterfeit products or the reproduction products from the mainline market. And it's little changes and adjustments like that can actually happen with somebody like me giving that input can actually happen. And then imagine if we have this platform going and I can go to you and say, hey, what do you think we need to do? What is wrong? What needs to change? And you come to me with a concern or an issue. You're like, Jay, I'm having this problem. Such and such, buyers are doing this type of thing and it's making things more difficult for me on the platform. And I say, okay, cool. Let me get on the phone with the dev team. Let me get them on the line. Let me see what we can do about fixing that up. How flippin' cool would that be? So that's kind of the direction that we're working to right now. But like I said, there's still some kinks to work out. And, I want to make sure that when I come to you, because we talked about it a little bit before, but I want to make sure when I come to you, I can come to you with a polished product and I can put my seal of approval on it and I can say my inventory is over there. I'm having, an experience there. I have stuff that I can share with you that I know the platform well, and then you can come across as well. So let's see. We got some heck yeses, some J-Bay. I wish I could call it that, but they're not going to let me do that. The branding is already set. But you know what? Maybe on my personal landing page, we might be able to get away with something like that. But honest to God, any affiliation with the eBay name is almost a bad thing at this point. Have you guys seen the stock price? It went down further from the time that I filmed. Yep, before PayPal. I remember those days. Yep. And yes, I do specialize in video games. I know a thing or two. I was at the swap meet today. And I went up to this guy's table and I saw a stack of PlayStation 1 games. And I'm like, oh, cool. And they were in these jewel cases for some reason. I pick them up and they were PlayStation Magazine demo disc. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, flip through the first 3. There's maybe 10 of them there. And he's like, oh, those are all PlayStation demo disc. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, maybe you got a real one in here, And I meant like a real game, like a full game. He's like, oh, those things are really collectible. And I'm like, oh, He's like, well, he's like, you got to know a thing or two about video games. And I'm like, cool. And I put him down. I'm like, I know a few things. Really? I'm like, yeah, I just closed a video game store just about a month or 2 ago. We had a little issue with a lawsuit. And then his daughter, who's maybe 22 years old, she's like, I saw you on the news. And I'm like, yes, you did. She's like, you had like 10,000 video games in your house, huh? And I'm like, yep, yes, I did. And I'm like, I know a few things about video games. And then just the look on his face, oh, it was priceless. The salty father finishing up a cigarette while he was burning in the sun today. It was interesting. And he's like, oh, okay. And then we had a moment. We talked. We were friendly after. But, I don't know. I don't feel the need to correct some people. If he wants to continue to believe the assertion that what he has is valuable and believing that brings him joy, I'm not going to stop him from that. There's no reason to take that joy away from him. Let's see a few more comments in here. Closed on Christmas too. Your buyer ID. I'm not following, but yeah, preach it. Yeah, the salty father. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was an interesting time today. But yeah, speaking of the swap meet, I know why you guys are here still. We got a few more items to look at. I'm going to rattle off 1 or 2 news stories real quick, if you don't mind. I'm trying to finish up in a reasonable amount of time. Don't get me wrong. I love being here with you guys. This is our season finale. We're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. But at the same time, it's a Sunday night. It's been a long week. Just prepping for the move and everything. Amazon comes to the table with more than just a deal. They're bringing turkey to the table. If you guys didn't hear, Amazon has a brand new Amazon Prime special where if you sign up for Amazon Prime right now, they'll give you a $20 gift certificate to Whole Foods that you can spend on turkey. And on top of that, if you're buying your organic turkey there, it's about $1 a pound less with your Prime subscription than without. And those of you guys who don't know, Amazon bought Whole Foods, I think, 2 years ago? One of the biggest grocery store buyouts ever. and they've been integrating that into their platform, and it's just been a massive success. God, their stock has taken off like crazy since then. Pre-Whole Foods, I think it was like $350 a share. Right now we're still sitting at about $800 a share, give or take. So I found that kind of interesting. A really, really different approach to trying to bring in new customers holiday season. A lot of people are thinking, I might as well. I'm going to get a free turkey out of it, and I'm going to be buying some Christmas gifts anyway, so what the heck? I'll go ahead and get it. And not only are they converting customers online, they're converting customers in real life. They're getting them into the store, which I found to be really, really smart. Very creative way of getting that to happen. Only after turkey has salmonella right now. Yeah, you got to be careful with the turkeys sometimes. Those organic ones, you never know. And then in other news, eBay presses the Canadian Post to ease up on its postal strike. Yeah, there's something like 180 truckloads worth of post that's just not getting delivered. And this is what happens when a company like eBay starts touting things like guaranteed delivery. Okay, and now remember what happens with guaranteed delivery. If you did everything right on your part, and you said, okay, I'll sign up for guaranteed delivery, I'm going to get my packages out on time. And if something happens with the courier, I'm not at fault. eBay's at fault, because that's how this works. So imagine, okay, having, a couple $1 million worth of packages just sitting in Canada, all marked with guaranteed delivery, and the Canadian Post is on strike right now. So eBay had to reach out to the Canadian government and pretty much make a plea to try and remedy this situation with the postal union, and or they're going to get hosed. And not only are they going to lose buyer confidence, they're going to have to shell out millions of dollars for this guaranteed delivery mishap. And I think the whole thing's foolish. I don't sign up for guaranteed delivery because not only are we looking at the loss of money there, but if I'm a guaranteed delivery seller, my item gets sent out, and then the customer doesn't get it in time. The customer, they open their claim, I lose my money, okay? Customer just gets their money. I got to wait for the item to get there. Then I've got to call eBay, and I got to go through the process to get my money back because I can guarantee that the item got there. You have to think about the logistics behind that and the millions of dollars that they're going to lose on customer service time with people having to call in and deal with this. Mindy says, the last Canadian shipment was trashed and broken. Yeah, there's Canadian Post is a bunch of I don't know. They lose a lot of packages out there. Something about domestic shipments or shipments from America making their way out there. Also, guys, we got like 18 people watching. If you haven't liked this video, definitely do that. It helps us bring more traffic in here. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that as well. We just broke 300 subscribers today. A little party favor, a little fun. Let's celebrate. Now we're gonna save the celebration for 500 and the big celebration for 1,000. In other news too, guys, this is going to be a finale for us tonight too, but we're going to talk about what some of those details are in a bit. Let's take a look at some more items. I got a few more for you tonight. We just looked at the water pick and the heating pad. When I picked up the water pick, I also picked this up as well. It's a plug-in lamp dimmer module by Levitron. I have no clue what this is worth, to be completely honest with you. But when I got the water pick, she wanted $5. I really didn't want to negotiate on it because it was a good price already. So what I did was I grabbed this and I said, hey, would you throw this in for me? I'm scanning it on Amazon really quick. None available on Amazon. Wow. Go figure. So we're going to use, it has a really good rank of 3,000. I'm just going to use the eBay voice to search this real quick. Levitron plug-in lamp dimmer module. Now I would be using it on the internet and I would be showing you guys, but I've just been having issues with trying to get the stream to stay consistent. So we'll do it the classy way. Look at that. So we're looking anywhere between $18.99 up to $25 for this bad boy. So that's fantastic. Nothing like a $1. And I was going to offer like $4, but who's going to negotiate down from 5 to 4? This is what I tell people all the time. Don't nickel and dime certain people, especially when you're getting a really, really good deal. Going from 5 to 4 means absolutely nothing. Save that effort for when you're trying to go from like 50 to 30 or 35, where the margins really, really matter. If somebody's taken the effort to set up out there and they've brought $1,000 worth of product and they've given you the opportunity to go through it, find a creative way to just do a little bit of a bundle up. Okay, she would have sold this for $1 all day long. I don't even need to ask if I can get this for $1. But if I'm buying a $5 item and I say, hey, can you just toss something? Can you toss this in? Would you still call it $5? It's so much easier. So yeah, we're looking at a $20 to $25 bill on that. Like I said, there's one available for $23 on eBay. I think mine's in the same condition, so I'll best offer, or I'll just chuck it into Amazon. I know the top is a little knackered, but I can still get $30 on Amazon because people will pay whatever the heck you ask on Amazon. That's just how they are. What else do we got? Oh yeah. Lo and behold, you guys if you guys watched last week or week before last, I found a French's pumpkin spice tin. The first time I've ever found a pumpkin spice tin. The one that I had, turns out, didn't even realize it was brand new. Okay. Is this one freaking new too? I actually found another one. I couldn't believe it because I've never found the pumpkin spice tin before, and I found another one. This one might even be new as well. This one's in slightly worse condition, but yeah, pumpkin spice is the flavor that you want to look for when you're out there, but you kind of want the McCormick one. It's worth about $50-$60. But yeah, this one's worth, I don't know, $15-$20. I paid $1 for it, but it's easy money. That's the thing about it. You can just pick them up, you can flip them out. I got one here that's gonna make the ladies happy. You guys talk about this stuff all the time, and I don't dabble in this category. Okay, it's one that I hate dealing in. I'm gonna try and make a little bit of space here. It's a category that I absolutely hate dealing in because it's glass. But when I saw this box, I said, "Oh, the ladies would be mad if I didn't get this." Okay, and I'm going to preface this, okay, I'm going to have to switch over to a green screen too so that you guys can see what I'm showing you here. But we have Shiny Bright glass Christmas tree ornaments. How cool is this? Original box and everything, but there's some bad news, guys, okay? And quick question coming in, why is the old pumpkin spice valuable? There's people who collect them. They like the old tins, and pumpkin spice was one of the lowest production run tins that I know of. Now, I think there's some other ones that are worth more too, but yeah, look them up. Look up the McCormick one. I've seen them go for like $50-$60, but people collect them. They're great set decoration. I hope to God no one's actually using it. But yeah, so I'm going to preface this. They're not all in here, okay? There's a bunch of non-Shiny Brights in here, but look at this box. This box alone, it's such great condition. This box is worth $20 on its own. So we've got the ornaments in here. We've only got, to the best of my knowledge, about 3 or 4 of the actual Shiny Bright ornaments in here. And they're so flippin' beautiful. How cool is that? Now, if you are a patron and you are interested in these ornaments, please let me know. Okay, we always work with our patrons. As a thank you, we'll offer you great items like this at cost, so you can get them for what we paid for them. I'm going to switch back over to my correct background right here. So you can get them for what we paid for them. And like I said, this box is in great shape. This is green, but I switched back over to our main background. And there's no damage to the lid either. How cool is that? Okay, so something like this, we'll probably, I don't know, $30-$40 on just this one box right here. But I didn't even tell you what else happened, okay? Oh, I'm so excited about this. Look at this, guys. I got more ornaments, okay? And looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more of these. And we got some of the bigger ones too. These Shiny Bright ornaments. And then a handful of other ones. Okay, and then we have, I don't know if, there's no lid with this one, so I can't pinpoint what the other ones are. And you won't believe this, okay? Those were the medium ones. We got a whole bunch of the large ones too, okay? And these are Shiny Brights as well. We've got, God, this whole thing almost. I think there's a half a dozen to maybe up to 10 Shiny Brights in here too. And Judy, yes, these things are absolute. Oh my God, look at this one. I could probably sell this one on its own. This is hand painted. How nice is that? That one's super vibrant. Look at the flowers on that. Vibrant and beautiful. And I know you ladies would be so upset if I didn't buy these, so I had to pull the trigger on them. But you won't believe the price I paid. Okay? And if there's a competition amongst the patrons, and this is how it works, guys. I'll sell anything to any patron at cost, but you have to promise to keep it. If I find them on eBay, I will boot you out. This is specifically if you want to keep these items, okay? If more than one person wants it, then we're going to do a little bid, okay? But I got all 3 boxes for $10. $10. There's easily over, in my opinion, okay? There's easily over $100 worth of Christmas ornaments here. Junior Haggy says, how do you keep them from breaking when shipping? That is a whole topic right there on its own. We'll talk about that. A lot of bubble wrap. Okay, you wrap them like crazy. You're going to want anywhere from 2 to 3 inches worth of padding the entire way around, and you may even want to double box it as well. You want to know that if you drop it from head height, that it's not going to get messed up. That's pretty much the benchmark, and you want to make sure you use brand new boxes. They call them virgin fiber boxes that haven't been used before. You don't want to use a recycled one, and you certainly do not want to use a USPS box to ship these out. The crush capacity is not going to be good enough. Okay, they're just not strong enough. So definitely give a lot of generous room for bubble wrap for days, because that's the thing about it. People don't realize this. Okay, you can buy your bubble wrap for $13 a roll shipped for, what is it, 175 or 350 feet. Okay, why are you going to send $100 worth of product and not be willing to use an entire third or half of a roll? You know, if you're going to send this out to somebody and they're paying $100 to $120, what's the big deal about $7 worth of bubble wrap? Use a whole half a roll if you have to. But there are cheaper ways of doing it. A layer or 2 of bubble wrap, and then a layer or so of craft paper. And then if you have any cavities, cutting your box down or reinforcing the corners, air bubbles as well is another great way to go. But how cool is this? And all the times to find, and you know what's crazy? I feel like an idiot too, because I saw those at the swap meet, I want to say 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and I've seen them more than once out there as well. And it didn't dawn on me until today. I'm just walking down the last aisle. I'm bored. I saw a cute girl off to the side. I'm like, I'm going to go see what she's selling. I see these again. And this time the boxes were stacked differently. The Shiny Bright was on top. And normally when I see ornaments, I'm like, I don't know anything about ornaments. I'm not going to waste my money on it. But I see Shiny Bright. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and Google this. I'm going to go ahead and check it on eBay, look it up, and I see the prices just on the box, and I start seeing the ornaments. I'm like, holy cow. So I walked by this God knows how many times before I pulled the trigger on it today. So this is where I feel stupid, because I could have asked at any time. I could have asked the group, and I shouldn't be walking by stuff, especially with my level of experience. Even experts, we can make mistakes too. Don't walk by stuff until you know what it is, and if you're not sure, ask somebody, okay? Because you saw right here, you guys are pumped. You guys, Shiny Bright, and I just didn't know the brand, but now it's locked in here. After Thanksgiving, the stencil Shiny Brights are beautiful. Yes, they are super, super nice. And if you have any selling advice for me, and if you think maybe that some of these should be parted out, or if you have any suggestions, please let me know. If you want to, I can take some better pictures of them up close. Some of them have signs of wear, signs of age from being outside, maybe a little bit of rusting across the top, but nothing too extreme. And Judy says I should wrap each one individually. You know what? I agree with you on something like that. Sometimes it is good to keep them in their original box and just kind of go at it like mad. But if I can get some type of protection in between, that might certainly help. And then she says a couple inches of hard styrofoam. And that's another thing too. You can go to an arts and crafts store, get some hard styrofoam, do your own cut downs on them as well, and create a custom enclosure for them. So these are super, super awesome. I'm going to safely put these to the side. And again, guys, don't forget this is a live Q&A. So I got 2 more items. I'm going to go ahead and preface this one by saying I quickly looked this up, but I am familiar with this. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, we're going to make a little game of this. I'm going to show you the item. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what the item is, and I want to see who is the first one to be able to identify this product, because this is something that you're going to want to look for when you're out in the field. And if you get it right, okay, we're going to go ahead and give them for eBay catalogs. They're GS1 verified. They're warranted for life. They even help you set up your first one. They've been longtime sponsors of the show. If you can tell me what this item is, we'll go first person to guess it correctly. We'll give you 10 free UPCs with the G10 information as well. So here we go. I'm going to show it to you for just a second. Can you ID that item? So we're going to put that off to the side for now. We're going to look at our next item. This is a vintage what is a Selectastat thermostat, and it has the little pump thing over here onto the side. Now, I got this item bundled in. I did the exact same thing. I said, hey, could you throw that in too? Do you mind just maybe toss that in for me? I'd really appreciate it. And I got that bundled in too because I didn't want to haggle too much on that other item. So I couldn't find a comp on this, okay? I could not find one. And I don't know, everything's there. It appears to be brand new. I'm probably going to list this for about 30 or 40 bucks. We'll see what happens on it, but I couldn't pass it up, especially with the bundle up, and especially it being new old stock and brand new. That might even end up being a set decoration as well. And we have Andrew Wilson, aka Kitty, with the correct answer. I knew you would be the one to guess that. This is a Zune. This is a portable music media storage device. These things were really popular for about a week when the iPod came out as well at the same exact time. But there's a cult following behind these things. People actually want these still. I believe this is a 30 gigabyte one, and I'm into this for about $10. And what's really great about it is, one, they had it charged up there, so I was able to test the item out, and two, it comes with the OEM charging cable. Fantastico. This piece, I'm going to get close to $100 for it, and I could not believe the price that I got. And this was with a very quick lookup. I can't say 110% sure, but I'm almost positive that that's what the rake is going to be on this. Even if it's 2/3 of that, that's still a fantastic return. But the only one that I saw when I did a quick search for this brown 30 gigabyte one was $125. I will check completed later, but congratulations to you, Kitty. Feel free to message me after the show so we can get you that prize. If you want it, I don't know if you're an e-commerce seller, but if you want it, it's all yours. Okay. Let's see. CatCon says, I still have a smaller one on the dock pad. Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, people who use them love them. And they do have a great return on investment if you're ever looking to sell one. Yeah, it's true that they were only popular for about 5 minutes. I agree. 110%. Give me one moment, guys. Let's take a look at the rest of my items. Because here's the thing, guys. Like I said, I'm only buying stuff right now with really good return on investment. You can see everything I found so far I'm into for $10 or less, and I'm getting anywhere from a 10x to like a 30x return on investment. Normally, I'll feature stuff where I'm getting a 2x, 3x, 4x, really small returns, really small profit margins because I could just list it, wait for it to sell, chuck it on a shelf, and then move on with my life. But this time, I want to make sure that the margins are thick and that it's worth packing and shipping. Something small like this where I can make $50, $60, up to $100, I have no problem packing this up and paying somebody to move it. We got just a few more items. Like, Jay, I thought you said you were only working with small items. What's in that giant box you got there? This is a Weapons and Warriors Castle Siege playset with over 75 pieces. Yes, it's upside down, and no, I'm not going to turn it around. This thing is massive. Jay, why are you buying that massive box over there? I'll tell you why, guys. It's because I'm going to sell the components. There's a bunch of really nice components in here that I can fetch some bucks for. Obviously, I don't want the box. I don't want these obnoxiously large pieces. What I'm looking for is tiny crossbows, okay, tiny catapults. We got tiny people, and then we also have the very distinct, virtually irreplaceable cannonballs. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell components out of this. I negotiated with the person. I said, hey, you are so far away from my car, I'm not going to pay you what you're asking for it. They wanted $5. I told them, if you were right next to my car, I'd hand you the $5, no problem. I'm going to give you $3 because I have to carry this bad boy. What's going to be probably 15 minutes before I get back to my car because we're so darn far away. She said, okay. So she sold it to me for $3. What am I going to get out of the components? Probably anywhere between, I don't know, 20 to 30 bucks, maybe as much as 40, depending on how I split it down. And then the extra little tidbits, the pieces that are turned into a castle, we can bag those up and donate those out to somebody as well. So it's a win-win the whole way through. So I can't complain. It's easy money, and don't be afraid, okay, to strip out components just throw the box away. You don't have to sell items the whole way through and through the entire thing together. This is too big. I'm gonna burn money up trying to ship the whole thing out at once. And I see people doing it online. They're selling the whole set for like $35 or $40, and I'm watching people sell a small handful of components for $15 to $20. That's the way you do it. Don't try and do the whole thing. There's no need for it. Take a look at these comments. Says Kitty says, I do not need prize hun. Choose another loyal kid on here to give that to. LOL. I don't even know what the UPCs are for. I appreciate that. If anyone else is interested in it, feel free to shout out and we'll get you those. And thank you for your generosity, especially during this season. CatCon says, make sure no one claims it doesn't work and then send their old ones back. Yeah, you have to be real careful with that. Always make it a point to take a picture of that serial number on your listing when you are listing it up. The serial number means nothing because there's no warranties anymore, but it does provide a safeguard for you. We also need to do a video. Somebody needs to remind me like how we can safeguard items when we're shipping out. We got to do a little training video on that. And then pirate ship. Yeah, gotta love that pirate ship. Make sure you guys sign up for flipping pirate ship. I can't stress this enough. It's free and you save a ton of money on your shipping. Maybe someone wants the box. If somebody wants the box, you come down here and get it. I'll give it to you. And then, oh God, these names are killing me, guys. I'm trying to juggle them in my head. Kay says, do decorate a train set layout with them. Adorbs. It would be pretty adorable. And, I'll save them. And Kitty, you don't know this yet. Okay. But I'm actually going to be doing some work in a new video game store by the end of the year, and you will see these posts going up that look very similar to the post that I was doing here in Fresno. And I'll tell you what, I'll save those castle pieces to come up with some type of really creative post for social media when I get to the new spot that I'm going to be doing some work with. Sell the bags of parts too. Yeah, I'm going to be selling every little bit I can. What kind of swap meet did you find this stuff? So I want to talk to you guys about swap meets. Not all swap meets are made equal, okay? And my efforts are not the same as your efforts. And I don't mean that in a rude way, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean that in the sense that I will get up early, and I will get to the swap meet while vendors are still setting up, okay? If you really want that early crack at it and you want your best opportunity for success, you will do that. I am very, very slow and patient when it goes to going through the swap meet. And this is a small haul for me. I'm only looking for thick margins. Okay, so I'm very, very patient, very, very deliberate, and you can see the diversity in items. And you have to ask yourself, when you're looking at me showing these items, you have to say, wow, that's a great margin. But would I have stopped and looked that up? Would I have considered selling components? Would I have negotiated things out that way? Would I have looked at the situation of it? And if the answer is no, I wouldn't have looked that item up. I would have walked right by it. That may be why your experience at a swap meet is slightly different than the experience that I'm having. So I'm very, very transparent about where I'm going and what I'm doing. So the castle set right here, that came from Visalia Swap Meet. They do their swap meet, and this is Visalia, California, Central Valley. They do their swap meet on Thursdays. And it was one of the worst swap meets that I've been to in a long, long time. It horrifies me so much that that's going to be my home location moving forward starting next year. I'm going to be in Visalia, and that's my home location. It was so bad. Most of the stuff you're seeing here came from Sunnyside Swap Meet located here in Fresno. They do their swap meet Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I want you to keep in mind, I went Sunday this morning around 8. Most of the vendors had been there for 2 days already. So all of this stuff is like leftover scraps that they missed or they didn't see value in. So the competition was a little bit different. I was a little bit surprised I did as well as I did for going out the time I did. So if you don't know this, I do live streams from swap meets. If you're a part of our second page, if you're a patron, you can actually access even more of that live content of me at swap meets doing sourcing. You can watch the negotiations. If you don't want to be a patron, if you just want to join our main page, Pam will put the link in the description or put the link in the comments. You can join our main page and click on the videos tab, scroll way back, and you can see me out at the swap meet live. You can see how I negotiate and interact with people, try and work good deals, and just the amount of effort that goes into it. But the reality is, once you get very diverse and you say, I'm willing to buy children's toys, Christmas ornaments, health goods, the whole gamut of items, that's when it starts becoming easy. So if you're one of those people that says, I'm really, really good at video games, and that's what I specialize in, so I'm going to stick with that, then you're going to have a lot of trouble moving forward as a reseller. If you're willing to be more diverse and you say, okay, I'm willing to look into other categories, I'm willing to sell women's shoes, I'm willing to sell jeans, I'm willing to sell glasses, I'm willing to sell glassware, and you start treading into categories that you maybe aren't so confident in and you don't know, and you're willing to take the time to learn and research, you can really start scaling up your operation to where instead of going out and finding $50 worth of stuff at a whole trip to the swap meet, you can go out and find $500 worth of stuff. So as an early reseller, I say be diverse, be diverse, be diverse. The more categories that you can learn in, the more money that you can make. Let's take a look at some more of these other comments. Everything is saleable. I agree 100%. Comment coming in saying Mindy was second. We'll give it to whoever likes it. I got some extras. So we can mark them with UV pens. You have to be careful about that, but there are certainly ways to do that. And that's in regards to item security and dealing with returns. Mindy says, going to get a marker, that blacklight stuff. We will have some of those available here soon. Just somebody remind me. We're trying our best to put together as many Patreon perks as possible. While I got you guys too, we got a few more items to look at. I'm going to talk a bit about Patreon just for a second. Okay, because we haven't had a good discussion regarding it. Those of you who are watching who aren't patrons, we have a 24/7 group chat that runs. We talk about everything from family to finances to reselling to product identification and more. It's a really, really great community to be a part of. And if you're new or even if you're experienced and you just want that feeling of having coworkers and people to talk to throughout the day, and if you're having issues or slow sales and you just want to have that direct contact, Patreon's really the way to do it. We even have physical thank you cards that are coming out. And the reason I brought this up again is because for those of you who are contributing $30 a month to help keep this show on the air, pay for equipment like mics, chairs, green screens, lights, you name it. Those of you who are coming up to the 6-month mark, which there's 2 of you coming up to the 6-month mark, we're finalizing the designs on the shirts right now. So we're going to have some shirts that are going out. They're going to have like one of our slogans on there. It says that if you don't make that money, someone else will. And it's going to have a little bit of branding on there, but it's really going to be a fun and playful shirt that's going to be going out. It's going to be premium quality. It's not going to be some Gildan low quality brand shirt. It's going to be a high quality $30, $40 value shirt that's going to be going out to our 6-month patrons as a thank you. So if you're interested in that, that's a new thing to do. Also, we are going to be, this is our season finale for this year. We've done, 40 of these this year. We've done so many of these. So this is going to be the last one for the year. I'm going to be taking the remainder of the year off. I do want to let you guys know when we do come back, I think we may be doing a Christmas special specifically for the patrons if I can manage to pull it out. And then we're going to have a brand new intro, a brand new outro. Now that I know more about editing, I'm going to try and put something really, really polished together for you guys so that we can take it up one more level. We might even have an animated background or a real physical background, like a real set. I would love to have that. So yeah, we're going to kind of see how that goes, but I just want to give you guys those reminders and those updates as to what is going on. Diana says, was catching up on your last video and saw this one live. Hi, everyone. Hello, Diana. Thank you for joining the show tonight. We're happy to have you. Make sure you sub to the channel, too. That way you can stay informed and get new stuff and, learn more about us and have a good time every single week. Let's take a look. We got a couple more items, not that much more stuff left, and then I think we're going to be wrapping up for the day. We'll save the best for last. I got this. I don't know if this is worth anything. I got it as a throw-in. This is you wear this. I'm gonna obviously if I wear it, I'm gonna sanitize the heck out of it. But it's a Daffy Duck or something to that effect. Donald Duck bill that you can put on, and then you can make duck noises through the end of it. But I got it as a toss-in. I thought I would show it to you guys. The real stuff here in the bag is that I got not 1, not 2, not 3, but I got 4 different Radica handheld little games. We got some slots, we got some poker, we got some blackjack. Yeah, these things are great. I love these things. They average anywhere between $10 to as much as $60 a piece if you have the right ones. Lighted solitaire is really popular. Big screen poker, Big Screen 21, any of the big screen ones, because there's a lot of elderly people that play with these. But I was able to get all 4 of these together. I think I paid $2 or $3 for all of them. Just hard negotiated because one of them is missing its back. I wasn't able to test them while I was there. Wasn't even going to, even if I had batteries in my pocket, which is something you may want to consider doing. As I start scaling up, believe it or not, I'm going to make sure I bring my backpack with me every time. Bring batteries, bring water so you're not wasting money on water. Bring a snack bar so you're not wasting money on food. Just really streamlining the process. But the 4 of these together, I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to run them as an auction because I don't want to camp on them. I'm hoping to get anywhere between $20 to $40 back on my $2 investment. And then these can go out together first class. I don't even think they weigh that much. Let's take a look at some of these comments. Yes, hit that like button. Oh, we got some new subscribers. Who do we have subscribed? Let's take a peek at this. Diana Clank, thank you for subscribing. Junior Haggy, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. That puts us up at, 302 subscribers now? We only need 698 more of you. And then we can activate that super chat button and actually make money on YouTube. Those of you who are curious, Jay, how much money do you really make doing this whole YouTube thing? Like, what is YouTube paying you? Oh, you want to know, eh? I've made $0 on YouTube. YouTube does not pay me yet. We don't get paid until we can actually run ads, and we can't run ads until we have 1,000 people on there. And that's why this stuff over here is so important. This is what actually keeps the lights on. Those of you who don't know, the patrons, they truly made this possible. All of this, everything that I've been doing for 2 years now, those of you who don't know this, even with all the money coming in through Patreon, I have made $0. This is the first month. This month, right now, we're in November. This will be the first month in 2 years that I'm actually going to be taking a check home for the work that I'm doing. I'm really excited about it. All the money that I have been making, I've been driving directly back into the brand. That being said, though, we're probably going to need a new computer coming in the next year. So that's going to eat into it as well. But that's just how it is. We're hoping to get Patreon scaled way up. But yeah. We'll see what happens with it. It's just part of the process, and I really did set out to, when I first started doing this, it wasn't a for-profit venture. I did this because no one else was doing this, and the people who were trying to do this weren't doing it correctly. They were giving out so much bad information. You guys see it too. You guys see it on Facebook. You go over there, and there's so many uninformed, unintellectual people spouting nonsense advice that means nothing. And they're not willing to back it up. If I give you bad advice and you lose money because of me, call me on it. I'll hand you your money right back. You say, Jay, you said this item was worth this much just a couple of days ago, and then I bought one for like $10, and it turns out it's not worth anything. Cool. Give me your PayPal. I'll send you your $10 back. Okay, I'm not going to give out advice unless I'm willing to suffer the consequences of it. And I know what I've been doing this long enough that I'm willing to give out that advice and willing to guarantee it. Let's take a look at some more of these comments. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the feedback I'm getting tonight. You're making this season finale, the season finale, quite a fun one for me tonight. The Walmart bag must have 24 of them. Here, if you guys don't know this, here in California, we have to pay for our bags unless you're getting government assistance and food stamps, then you don't have to pay for bags, okay? But if you're somebody who's self-sufficient, you have to pay for bags. And people don't remember to reuse them. We forget to put them in the car, so we have so many of them. CatCon says, oh my God, I tried selling all of those at my garage sale. It took me so long, and a yard sale to sell them all. I have no clue what the Radica? The handhelds? Yeah, some of the handhelds are kind of chintzy, like the Connect 4 and Battleship and Hangman. You really want to stick to the slots, 21, poker, solitaire, bridge, if you can find bridge. Those are the real key ones that you want to stick to, is the card-based ones. Bigger the screen, the better. If it's lighted, that's better. If it makes sound still, that's even better. And it's very important, too, that all the buttons function, and that if you have a button that you have to press hard on, you do disclose that. If you do want to fix it, it's a very easy fix to fix a hard press button, and I can make a little tutorial for you guys if you need them. Let's see. Diana says, a must when thrifting. Bring your own bags these days. Good deal on all. Thank you. Yes, I always carry at least 2 bags on me, shove one in my back pocket. Judy says, get one of those rolling carts the older people use when getting their groceries. I hate the rolling carts at the swap meet. And you know what I hate even more than that? Is the ladies who walk around with umbrellas. Okay? You guys don't realize this. That is a giant ninja star at eye height. Do not take an umbrella to the swap meet. It is selfish, okay? You're just like running around, and I'm just doing this because I don't want to get stabbed in the eyes. Smash that bell button, too. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, if you hit the bell button, it'll let you know when I go live. It'll let you know when I make new videos. And here's the thing, too, guys. If you didn't know this, I have almost 100 videos on YouTube, and we have a lot of these ones called Small Questions, Big Answers, and it will help you out immensely if you have little questions. And you can even ask questions, too, and I'll make a dedicated video to answer your question. Let's see what else we got. Judy says, oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm trying to roll through and catch up on some of these comments. Diane says, I tried to do videos, no time. They take a ton of time. If you missed out on our documentary earlier that I did doing a little expose on eBay, it took 25 hours to produce. Pam, do we have the link that's dedicated, the dedicated link to that video, so that way people can watch and share it now that it is after 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time? Can we get the link out? Let's get that out so that everyone can have it. Let's see. He said, I've made $0. Yep, that's right, Andrew. I have not gotten paid for any of this. But here's the thing. I am so thankful because I may not have made money on the front end. Okay, I may not have had dollars in my bank account. But I can even think back to a moment where Mindy corrected me on something. I sent her a picture of an item while I was at a thrift store out of town. And it was this jug-looking container. And it looked really nice, but I didn't know what the heck it was. And now even thinking back on it, I can't remember what it was. Some type of milk container made of leather with a lacquer over it. It had metal fittings on the top. And she's like, go back and get that. Go back right now and get it. And I'm like, it's cracked up a little bit on the bottom. She's like, no, go back and get it. And I went back to the store. I paid, I think, $10 for it. It sold for almost $200 on eBay. And there's been a lot of these situations where I've stopped and I've asked for help because I don't care how long you've been doing this. You just don't know everything. There's no way to know everything. So I may not have made money on the front end, but I've certainly got enough help on the back end to where I've been able to benefit from it. And we've been able to scale up and get affiliates and all kinds of other stuff. So I may not be getting dollars directly in the bank account, which is fine. The whole goal of this is so that people can get great information and learn together. And I'm trying my best to catch up on your comments, guys, but don't be afraid to keep them coming. The PC shop, it's Diane again. The PC shop, local repair shops, you'll find a deal. That is definitely possible. And then Mindy says, look how far you've come. And I can't stress that enough. If you guys really want an eye-opener, go back and watch some of my first videos on YouTube. Boy, holy cow, I'm not even in frame. And I don't even know if I said this before. I don't even know if I explained how the first video that I put on YouTube was even made. It's so cringy to even talk about it. I was afraid of being in front of the camera. And I was really concerned that the content that I was making may not be entertaining enough for people to want to watch, that they may not be able to get engaged and they may not find value in it. And I had a lot of people tell me that you're just doing, or not a lot of people. I had a couple of people tell me you're just doing what other people are doing. You know, there's nothing special about it, yada, yada, yada. And I told them, like, there's more to it than just the items that I'm showcasing. It was a pickups video, and I think it's even titled, like, Jay's Pickups or something like that. But I had 2 high back chairs. Okay. They were kind of, my whole thing's flipped. I had 2 high back chairs to the side of a short table. And I had a piece of wood going across the top between the 2 chairs. So just imagine that setup. Chairs, piece of wood across the top, and then I had an iPad laying flat on top of the piece of wood with the lens sticking just over the edge and pointing straight down on top of a table. And I would press the record button on it, and I would slide the items underneath. And I would show the items on screen, turn the items, and try and get up and talk into the microphone while showing the item underneath. And it was just this awkward, super cringy experience to be able to get the channel started. And it was fueled by people like Mindy and people like Georgia and Pam and Christina Ray and a lot of the early people that came from a different group. And they encouraged me to make content. They encouraged me to create the group, encouraged me to get it going. So I made the video, and I had to edit it in iMovie. And iMovie was on the iPad. And my iPad was so small that I had to delete everything else off of it just to be able to make videos for you guys. I had to delete all the, and I, obviously I could back up photos and videos, but I deleted all the photos, all the videos, all the other apps, everything off of there, just so that I could shoot footage, edit it on iMovie with very, very little to no skills whatsoever, and then upload it to the internet directly from the iPad. And that's how I started. And now here I am using Final Cut Pro, lighting kit, green screen, microphone, showcasing dozens of items and doing live interactions with you guys just 2 years later. It's been a heck of a ride. But if you want a little cringe fest, go back and watch some of those old videos. I don't know if I've ever even told that story. Let's see some of these comments too. Yeah, you must have met the Tiki Dude. Oh God, don't even start with me about the Tiki Dude. Yeah, that Tiki Dude's got me banned on every single group he owns. Let me try and find the correct way to phrase it. There are certain people who shouldn't be teaching other people within this industry that make it harder for people like myself to gain validity and traction. CatCon, or excuse me, not CatCon. God, I'm getting everything confused. No, it is CatCon. If I forget my bags, I ask them for a box at the store and they put my stuff in it. That's always good. Oh my God, I lost all my comment places. Okay, let me see. It's scrolling real funny. They're pushing the recycled bags here on the East Coast in Delaware. Yep. I hook them to my keys to remember them to take them. That's a good idea. Hook them to your keys so you take them back to your car. The hand games were ones I had bought with my kids, and they never used them much, so they were like new. Like I said, just make sure you avoid things like Hangman, Connect 4, Battleship. Those are really, really low value ones. The baby strollers. Gosh, yes. Baby strollers at the swap meet. Oh, it's horrible. You know where I hate even seeing them even more is at the casino. Like, I understand if your parents want to gamble and you got a kiddo there with you, but if your kid's in a stroller, do not take him to the casino. California swap meets equals Texas flea markets. Yes, it's a catch-all. Swap meets, flea markets, boot sales. There's one other one for it too. Rummage sales. There's a few of them. So yeah, it's regional dialect here for the West Coast for sure. Pam says mini doc standalone to anyone. That link is not working, Pam. We got to remember to use the HTTP before that. Let me go ahead and see if we can get that fixed up real quick. http://www.bit.ly/eBay revealed. Let's see if that works. So yeah, there's your link, guys, if you want to share that video. And let's go ahead and carry on. Trunk sales, yes. And the long hair, yes, I used to have long hair. I just cut it not too long ago. And with the man bun and everything. Guys, we're down to our last item for the season finale for this year. So, this was a random thrift store that I stopped at while I was in Visalia. It was really interesting to me just how many thrift stores were not on the map in Visalia. And I had done thrifting in Visalia, and I was sorely disappointed. So I know what you're thinking, like, Jay, why are you moving to Visalia if the thrifting's so bad? It's a nice centralized spot for me to be able to hit both Fresno and Bakersfield. And the housing cost is cheaper, and the thrifting is just viable enough. People talk about the quality of the items that I get all the time, so I also thought it would be really interesting to spend 1 year in a town that was difficult to thrift in. It was a little bit harder, so that way I could show you some of the ins and outs of alternative thrifting and things that you could do to try and increase your revenue in different towns. We're going to be talking about stuff like running ads and stuff like that to be able to increase your sell-through, or not your sell-through, but increase your buy frequency, as well as expanding into different categories and things you can do during the winter season when swap meets and boot sales, flea markets are all closed. CatCon says, gonna miss the live videos. I'm sorry, CatCon. I gotta get this move done. So as soon as the move's done and, I can focus in a little bit more, we're gonna make it happen. So here's the last item of the day. Do you know this logo? I want you to keep in mind, I did not pay $10 for this item. I negotiated this item down to $5. Okay, so what do we have? If you don't recognize this logo, I barely recognized it. It's actually the Uber logo. So I knew what I was expecting when I opened this box up. I was expecting it to be one of those really cool Uber lights, and that's exactly what we have here. So we have an Uber light up light, and I think, we're going to test it while we're live right now. We have the Uber sign right here as well, which might be a little instruction manual or thank you bit. The lady instructed me that this did work. Now, before you guys start Googling and eBaying and trying to look this item up and tell me what you think it might be worth, I want to let you know you can't find this on eBay. You will find similar ones, you will find knockoff ones, but you will not find this exact same one. This one is authentic. This one is issued by Uber, the company themselves. And if you think, Jay, how do you know it's the real deal? Well, we actually have the official serial number and barcode on the back. How cool is that? So there hasn't been an official one on eBay in a long time. Let's see if this bad boy works. What are we going to unplug to see if we can test this? So you guys are going to see for the same time that I am whether or not this thing actually does anything. But it should light up and it should be... Oh my God. 2 hands. That's what she said. Does it work? It appears to not... Oh, wow, that's cool. Look at that. Holy cow. Let me put up the other background here. Isn't that nifty? How cool is that? I love that. Very, very nice. Yeah. So I've never seen one of these before. It's getting brighter too. It's getting a little more intense. Let me see if I can hold on. Killed one of the lights for a second for you guys so you can see a better look at it. Yeah. I'm going to ask... It's still glowing. Holy cow, it's rechargeable, guys. It has an internal battery. Look at that. Oh, that is awesome. Oh, yeah, we're in the money for sure on this one. I wish it was a keeper, but unfortunately it's not. Okay. Diana says, had to go there. Always, Diana. And, you know, we're real subtle about it. We don't take much time to stop and pay attention to those, but they're there for the people who are paying attention to me. But yeah, no, this thing's pretty rad. I think it's rechargeable. And the thing is, the knockoff ones, I see them online, and they're around $30. I think I'm gonna try and aim high. I'm gonna start an auction at $100, and we're gonna see what happens. If it fails to sell at $100 at auction, I'm gonna give it 2 tries, 2 bites at auction, and then I'm gonna flip it around. We're gonna do $100 or best offer. So a lot of comments coming in. Uber, cool. That was a good one, Diana. You caught me off guard on that one. And Mindy says it reminds her of the Simon game. Simon Says. Yeah, it's a cool little piece. I'm going to check what this paperwork says. I think this might be some type of rider incentive. It's a sticker of some variety. It's already slightly sticky, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm happy they're there, at least. It might be a reusable, restickable sticker. So, yep, that's everything. Guys, holy cow. Let's get some beats going. You know? It's been good. It's been fun. I don't know where my chapstick went. I don't know which one of you guys took my chapstick, but God, what a year we have had together doing this Sunday Reseller Roundup. We've had our highs, we've had our lows, we've had difficulties getting patrons, difficulty keeping patrons, difficulty with funding, difficulties with eBay and Amazon and everything. But I think we can step away from this year, hopefully each one of us can on a personal level, and say that this has been a really good year, that we all have solid profits and we've all learned a lot and we've all, I don't know, gotten the most out of what we wanted from this year. And if you haven't, I want to remind you, there's a month and a half left. So if there's something that's been missing from your year, whether it be profits or friendships or relationships or family time or time with pets, time doing the things you love, art, drawing, reading, movies, whatever it might be, take some time and do it. You know, the holiday season's going to take care of itself. Everything in life will take care of itself as long as you're putting in effort and you're trying your best and you stay positive and keep the negativity out of your life. I'm talking negative people, negative thoughts, negative feelings. Just try and find that positivity and be there for people. Okay? Gosh, this is one time of year where you got no excuse to not be nice to those or those around you right now. And, I try not to get too preachy on this show, but Christmas time, and I don't say Christmas Day, it's the Christmas time, it's that whole season, halfway through November, all the way through till the end of November, where I get to see the best in people. I get to see people walking around smiling, asking people how their day is going. I get a small snapshot of the best part of society. And it's important to embrace and enjoy those moments and carry them with you moving forward, because they can be very fleeting. Okay? Also, too, if you haven't, take a moment and call up some old friends. Go through your phone, look up people that you haven't talked to in a while, and reach out to them. Be a good person and say like, hey, how are you doing today? Would you like to go get lunch? Would you like to go get dinner? Would you like to buy something off my eBay store? Would you like to check out this cool video that I saw online today? I don't know. Just make that conscious effort and have fun. And remember, guys, too, that's the whole point of this. It's supposed to be a little bit fun. I mean, look at the smile on this guy's face. You know what I got to do today? I got to go with a friend to the swap meet. I got to go around and shop for an hour or two. I got to hang out with other vendors, people that I've done work with for on and off for years, from the old days of going to storage auctions to different swap meets, different trade shows and events. I got to rub shoulders with great people and share some positive energy. And then I got to shop. People love shopping. I got to spend, I don't know, $50 or $60 today on some really, really cool stuff. And now I get to turn a fantastic profit moving forward. So even with all the frustrations that are eBay and Amazon, Etsy, Posh, Mercari, Prairie Grit, etc., it's important to realize that we're very fortunate, very, very fortunate, not only that we have each other, but that we have an opportunity to do something that gives us both time freedom and financial freedom. That we get this wonderful experience in life that many people don't get. And I don't mean in the metaphorical, they don't understand, but people have taken paths in life that I feel are much more complicated than they need to be. The process here is a very, very simple one. And if you stick to what works and you say, I'm going to go through the process and do it the way that it needs to be done. I'm going to focus on quality buys, quality customer experience, making sure that my listings are great, that I ship stuff out on time, and you carry that positivity with you, you're going to go very far within this industry, and you're going to have a very relaxed life. And you know what is really disheartening is that there's people out there who want this, but even as I started my rant right now, they stop watching this video. Okay, I watch my viewer count drop as I start talking about the importance of being a good person, the importance of trying hard. They just stop watching. So it's not for everyone, but I'll tell you, a year ago or so, and you can even watch my videos from before that, my attitude about life and how I treated people and how I carried myself and how I looked at work, I completely changed it. I started relaxing a heck of a lot more and saying that everything is going to sort itself out as long as I'm a good person. And, it's not for everyone. Being a person of integrity and being honest, not only to yourself, but those around you, it can be very challenging. But give it a shot. It really pays off. I'm going to take a look at a few more of these last comments real quick. Andrew Wilson, aka Kitty, says, preach it and happy early Thanksgiving. And happy early Thanksgiving to you too, hon. I know you've left already, but thank you for that. And then Diana says, we will be back. Had a grand time. Thanks, as I am quite the hermit here as reselling here in Delaware. Happy Thanksgiving. And that's another thing too. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I don't know if there's some people that are not doing the Thanksgiving or the Friendsgiving or whatever it might be, but I'm going to state this too. If you don't want to be with your family for Thanksgiving, don't, okay? You have full agency over yourself and you should do the things that make you happy, but oh boy, does it really frustrate me when I hear people say, oh God, I got to go spend Thanksgiving with my family. It's like, if you don't want to, then just don't. You have full agency. Do the things that make you happy. Prioritize yourself first, okay? It's the most important thing of it all. Junior Haggy says, thank you for the show. And this is where we will button things up. Thank you to all of you for what has been an amazing year of growth, progress, sales, learning about each other, understanding, and a whole bunch of fun experiences and memories. I cannot wait to show you what's in store for year number 3, coming into Q1 of next year, we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun together. We're going to be doing some really interesting things. So thank you again to every single one of the patrons, especially those of you who stuck by me from the very, very beginning. You guys know who you are. Thank you to all the patrons for your support. Thank you for making this happen. Thank you to everyone for watching tonight's show and sticking it out with me. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And remember, the most important thing of it all, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Thanks for watching. Have yourself an absolutely wonderful night.